Boy Kills World is a bizarre and unique movie starring Bill Skarsgard. Boy Kills World, a fever dream action film that follows Boy, a deaf person with a vibrant imagination. When his family is murdered, he is trained by a mysterious shaman to repress his childish imagination and become an instrument of death. So they bill it as a revenge story. He's being trained by this monk who treats him rather poorly because you got, if you ever watched Kill Bill and, was it not Pyman or whatever, that old master that was teaching her to fight. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that kind of a relationship. But it's got an interesting cast. And if you didn't know, he's deaf and he's also mute, so he doesn't talk. And that's going to be jarring for a lot of people because you see it from his perspective at times, and because he can't hear what people are saying, he makes it up in his own head what people are saying. And I don't know if that's going to land for people. That's what I meant in my straight out of the theater reaction, where it's kind of like he's got his own inner monologue, and you think, well, why wouldn't you just use Bill Skarsgard's voice for it? It's because he's never heard his own voice. He doesn't know what his own voice sounds like, and he's got like this inner narration going on, and I dug it. Like at first, I was like, I didn't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if I like this, but him and his sister used to play video games, and his inner monologue voice is the video game voice. So if you've ever watched movies like what was that, Rock and Rolla with Gerard Butler, the kind of fast-paced, quippy action kind of style movie, this is kind of like that, but it's also got its own angle to it where he's deaf and he's mute and he's being trained by this harsh master, and you think it's a straightforward revenge story. He wants to go out and kill the people that murdered his family, but it's also told by people like he can't hear people's voices, so sometimes he'll imagine he's trying to read their lips, and he's like, did that person really say that? But you'll hear a voice of somebody else actually saying something. It's like, it's totally bizarre, man. It's weird. And I by the end of it, I was immersed, and I was like, okay, I like what they're doing here, from producer Sam Raimi. Now, also known this, guys, it's got a lot of action and stunt work in it that I wasn't expecting. Like, I knew that there would be some fighting, but to the caliber that it goes to with its execution of it, you know me, guys, I'm big on stunt work. I'm big on it, and I champion it. And it was cool to see Michelle Dockery there from Downton Abbey playing one of the bad guys. She was having fun. And by the end of it, I was just going, wow, I can't believe that something this kind of grindhouse type of style thing actually works for me. And things in it, the story, the way that it unfolds, you're like, this should be fairly straightforward. Oh, I know what's going to happen here. I think I know what's going to happen here. And no, it throws a couple of curveballs in there that make you go, wait a minute. Okay. I don't know if I like. Oh, no, actually, I do like that. This is a different story. This is different from what is being kind of sold to us in the trailers. It's got more depth. That's the right word. It's got more depth to it than I could ever possibly imagine, because there's a storyline there that his family was killed. He's got this relationship with his sister that he really clings on to, and it's kind of like learning to let go kind of thing, right? And Bill Skarsgard does a great performance in portraying that. So I felt like through all the noise and stuff, there was some subtleness going on there, where there's a heartbreaking scene where it's kind of like he's got to grow up, he's got to let it go kind of thing, and that's what paid off for me. while I watched Boy Kills World. Let's go over to my score sheet and start putting in some of the numbers here. Okay, acting, directing, and story are of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are of a possible 1 point each. So, acting, as I said, Bill Skarsgard does good. Michelle Dockery also does great. Now, is it any like Academy Award winning level acting? Not really. Sholto Copley shows up in this. And he does very much a similar role to what he did in Monkey Man, if you saw that. Directing. Guys, I'm going to give directing it for now. I may adjust the directing and story numbers when I come back to it after we look at the Rotten Tomato meter. Because, as I said, the action is very well cut together. You can tell that they spent time crafting these scenes, these action sequences, and that pays off. It totally pays off towards the end. Story. It's like dystopian, right? It's like post-apocalyptic, but not. You don't really see like what actually sort of happened. It's just like after society had crumbled, kind of thing. You got like a little bit of shades of Hunger Game type of like that kind of post-apocalyptic world. You got a little bit of that, but it didn't really go into that because the story didn't call for it to go there, right? It was just very well established. So for that, I would give 1.5 to the story, for now at least. Cinematography and score. Cinematography, I'm giving a full point to, because there was some really interesting. They must have used drones to get into these tight, I guess, sets that they had, because they're like weaving and revolving all around as these big elaborate fight sequences are happening, and it's breathtaking to see. It's just well crafted, quippy, witty dialogue. Boy Kills World is a thumbs up in my book. If you like anime movies, it reminded me of a few episodes of like the way that One Piece on Netflix was kind of paced. If you liked One Piece, then you probably will end up liking Boy Kills World. But I felt like Boy Kills World executed itself just a little bit better. Just, no, you can't say that. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying. Let's see where this ranks and see if we can agree with what the critics are saying. Ooh, 61% by critics, 69% by the audience. So my guess, my observation of that right off the bat is that maybe, as I said, the dialogue and the voices that you hear are going to be tough for people to assimilate. And I think that's where I'm guessing most of the criticisms are going to come from, because as I said, he's deaf, he's mute, he doesn't know what voices sound like, right? And at times we actually do get to hear like what the people are actually saying and stuff. So it's kind of like there's a mix that happens in there that people may find jarring. But once you get into it, I had no problems with that. I don't know what else they could criticize, so let's go down to the snapshot reviews and see what people are saying. Richard Roper, the ultra-violent Boy Kills World hits you over the head with gimmicks. So that you didn't like it, Richard. Yeah, I don't know if I don't agree with him on that. Jeremy Johns liked it. Cool. We always trust Jeremy. I absolutely love Boy Kills World. I was completely gripped by its energy, fun, and sense of cinematic escapism. Cinematic escapism. That's good. Jeremy, you nailed it on the head there. It's fun. Yeah, that's precisely what I wanted to hear. Cinematic escapism, because it's unique. You're not going to see in probably another movie like this in the theaters this year. It's not straightforward kind of thing. Well, yeah, it is, but it's got like weird. It's got a from like a totally weird perspective. It's hard to articulate without like spoiling things. But that's part of the ride, guys. That's part of the ride. Okay. Creators Syndicate. I don't know when the last time I saw a movie quite like Boy Kills World. Not recently, I'll tell you that. Yeah, and it does go to like shades of what Quentin Tarantino does with his films. Just how weird and abstract a straightforward could be story like what Quentin does can be told. It's like on that caliber kind of thing. Boy Kills World is a blast, fun ride filled with tons of gleeful mayhem. Yet it's not without its certain flaws. Yeah, I could see that perhaps there's some flaws in there for sure. And it's not a perfect film, but it's a fun film. I want to see if there's somebody that I respect at L.A. Times. For this boy to kill the world, the movie shouldn't need to kill our patients first. What? No, it starts off with a bang, guys. So I don't know what movie, yeah, they're watching there. Um, Boy Kills World, a cheeky, extremely bloody action extravaganza keeps an audience so off balance for so long that you may throw in the towel well before the final bad guy falls. No, no, I don't agree with that at all. And that comes from like well established trades of journalists. So I don't like Washington Post, LA Times, CNN. You can just take your criticisms and walk. I trust more people like Jeremy Johns to give it to me straight because they're movie fans first. They've earned that. People who come from big trades like that, you haven't earned anything. You just earned your stupid journalism degree. Now get out of my face. Next, Variety. It's a depraved vision, yet I got caught up in its kick-ass revenge horror pizzazz. Its disreputable commitment to what it was doing. And its disreputable commitment to what it was doing. Yeah. Um, man, Boy Kills World. As I said, it's it's not going to be for everybody, but for me, it's going to end up in the conversation for one of my favorite movies of the year. When Boy Kills World is in action, the cartoony splatter zone fight sequences pack a wallop, but it does not deliver an attempted emotional smack. I thought it did because of the relationship with the sister, and it really pays off, man. Oh, it does. That's what makes this story so well crafted because they set stuff up in the beginning that you're like, okay, well, yeah, I get it. They were brother and sister. They love each other, but they do things with those interactions that pay off later in the film. So when something really big happens towards the end, I was like, that got me right here. It got me. And Bill Skarsgård pulled it off masterfully. And it has to do a little bit with sign language. I'm just thinking about it now. It makes me want to go and watch Boy Kills World again. It does. That's how good it is, guys. It's a sleeper. It's not going to make a whole lot of money at the box office, unfortunately. And because the critics from the big trades have louder mouths than I do, it's going to just kind of fly under the radar. But I implore you to go out and check it out because it is one of the more unique films that you are going to see this year. So, based on that, I would say the watchability factor is at least once. And I would go out and watch this again. Totally. Would I own it on Blu ray? Yes. Yes, I would. I'd be honored to have Boy Kills World be part of my collection. Now, um, the score, it had some interesting needle drops for sure. It served its purpose. I don't remember too much more about that, so I can't give too much more to the score. I could easily give it to an 8.5 maybe, but that's pretty much where I'd like to land with Boy Kills World. 8 8 out of 10. Thumbs up in my book, guys. What did you think about it? Did you go out and see it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we will talk about it. Hey, if you like to talk about these kinds of things, we just did a full movie review for Challengers starring Zendaya, the sultry, sexy time at the theater movie where you get to see a bunch of guys in the locker room and saunas pining after Zendaya. Um, It's not that. It's more about tennis, guys. But I talk about that in my review, so come join us on that. And hey, if you like this kind of stuff, come join us here on the channel because we do live shows where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day. And we do lots of shorts, trailer reactions. If this is your bag, come join us and we'll have lots of fun right here on Mirror Domains. Okay. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun, guys. Just it was just a real treat. Sorry. And it as I said, there's gonna be a point in Boy Kills World where you'll be like, I don't know if I like this. This isn't for me. Because I felt that. I felt it. And then look at my review after. It wins you over. It does. And that's why I say it's worth the look. Okay.